Hey everyone, no intro today. We're doing something a little different, and that is not doing an intro. The only reason why I ever did an intro, anyhow, is it gives time for people to jump on and not miss the beginning. As you can tell, I still have this cold. It's unbelievable. So I will probably be clearing my throat quite a bit tonight. And I've got my cough drop handy just in case I get too bad. So hopefully we'll get through this without talking. Tonight's live stream is all about when I sold 26 deals in 9 days. And we will be talking about today's sales challenge as well because it's wrapped into all of this. But before we get into how I did this, I'd like to play the testimonial.
Hi, this is Olivia Mitchell with Crouching Tigers. I hired Christine to cold call for my company, and she was able to sell 26 accounts in 9 days. I actually had to ask her to put the brakes on it as we needed to hire more staff. You will definitely benefit from Christine's course.
Okay, that was Olivia when I cold called for her small business. Hold on. I may have to put that cough drop in right away. So, in order to have done, and I'll play that one more time because people are popping in.
Hi, this is Olivia Mitchell with Crouching Tigers. I hired Christine to cold call for my company, and she was able to sell 26 accounts in 9 days. I actually had to ask her to put the brakes on it as we needed to hire more staff. You will definitely benefit from Christine's course.
Okay, how did I sell 26 deals in 9 days? Isn't that what you're tuning in for? I developed my entire cold calling masterclass around this. Obviously, I can't give you 36 lessons from the cold calling masterclass in 30 minutes, but I am going to give you the highlights and what I did in order to close the 26 deals in 9 days. And then I would encourage you to get the cold calling masterclass so you can dive even deeper to replicate my success. And everyone, this isn't just a one and done. I didn't do this just one time and that was it. It is my personal best, but I have closed a lot of deals for small businesses, 20 in a month, 22 in a month, 15 in a month. Personally, I could not handle 26 new clients in a month. I can't do it for the scale of my business. I'm a solopreneur. I do all the training. I do everything myself. But for small businesses that are looking for rapid growth, they bring me in to do their cold calling for them. And that's what I did for Olivia. So here's how I did it. She gave me 241 prospects. That's how many was on the prospect list. Out of those 241, I really honed in on 52 prospects. I didn't call all 241 right away. It took me about 4 months to get through the 241. But what I first did was extract the 52 that I really thought would be a good fit, and I could basically the low-hanging fruit. I could close them right away. They were businesses that Olivia would have high growth in and would be able to have a long-term relationship. So I took those 52 and I sold 26 out of the 52, but I sold 41 total out of the 240. Okay. Still good odds, everyone. Wouldn't you love that? 241 leads or prospects, that's manageable. Now, I know I'm not talking to the people that are telemarketers that, you're required. Let me remove this. You're required to make 100 calls in a hour. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to small businesses, solopreneurs that does their own calling or may have a small sales team that does their calling for them. You cannot manage 1,000 prospects in a CRM. It is mind-blowing. The 241 prospects was hard to manage just for me, but I did get through them in about a 4-month period. Why did it take me 4 months to get through 241 prospects? Because as I was making the calls, some people, I got voicemail. Other people, I was told that the decision maker was out of the office, or that they were on an appointment, or that they were in a meeting. Or I talked to the decision maker and they asked me to follow up because they were pulling in more people on their team to have a conversation about this. So that's a lot of follow up. And I follow up fairly soon. I never promote following up 2 weeks later. So I would call. If I got voicemail, then in the CRM, I would follow up the very next day if I got a voicemail. If I talked to somebody and they said they were out of the office, I would ask when would be a good time to call back. Sometimes it was later that day. Sometimes they told me, well, you can usually reach them on such and such day at such and such time. I'd make note of that and I would mark a task to follow up on that day and time. So my point in all of this is you can generate a lot of follow-up with just 52 prospects. If you're following up every 24 to 48 hours, which is what I recommend. That's what I did in order to land 26 deals in 9 days. Let me show you this other part that I did. Okay. This is my cadence. Day 1, call in the morning, leave voicemail, follow up with email. Call in the afternoon, leave voicemail. Day 3, call in the morning, leave voicemail, follow with email. Day 5, leave email before 8 a.m., call in the afternoon, leave voicemail. Day 8, leave email before 8 a.m., call at lunchtime or right after. Day 10, call in the evening, leave voicemail, follow up with email. Day 13, loop back to day 1. The idea is to stagger the times you're calling. This is for one prospect. That's it. One prospect. Okay. On day 10, call in the evening. Now, I know some of you may not want to do this, but on this particular client, their decision makers sometimes didn't leave until after 6. So I made a note to call them around 5 or 5:30 to try to catch them. And guess what? I absolutely got a hold of them. Dan Jordan, love the cadence idea, Christine. Great stuff. Thanks, Dan. Dan's another cold calling king. You really are, Dan. So, the point of the cadence is to keep all of your prospects on track. You keep it on track in a CRM. I live and breathe and die by a CRM. Okay. And another thing, as you can see, call in the morning, leave voicemail, follow up with email. I did this on every call that I made. If I got a voicemail, I would follow up with an email. And in the email, I would say, here's the voicemail right here. Hi, Brenda. It's Christine with the Savvy Sales Lady Firm. It sounds like you're busy. I'll give you a call back at Tuesday at 1:30. Hopefully, you'll be available to take my call. If you have a few minutes later today, you can reach me at, and I'd leave my phone number twice slowly. Then I would do an email, the same message in the email. And I would start the email with, Brenda, a few moments ago, I left you a voice message. For your convenience, here is the message. Out of those 26 deals I closed in 9 days for Olivia, about, I would say 15% of those answered the email and said, you know, if you're available on such and such day at such and such time, I'll be able to take your call. Or I would get an email, thanks for reaching out. We're not interested. Fine. I'm fine with we're not interested. So I kicked them down the road for 6 months. Because if I have learned when I was cold calling for another small business, well, actually, this happened with Olivia too. Now that I think about it, I would get a text message a month later, 2 months later, and they would say, "Is your program still available? We've had a change in plan." Now, for this one particular small business owner, this happened to the largest business he had been trying to close for 5 years. And when I told him the progression of my call with this one business owner that he was really targeting hard, he said, well, I didn't think they would switch to me because I know that they're really locked into that vendor. And I said, listen, don't give up, because vendors screw up and vendor leaderships leave, and you may have a chance to get in there. So I continued to pursue that prospect until she said to me, I thought about it. We're going to stick with our current vendor. And I said, I don't remember her name. I said, why don't you just keep my name and number? And if anything changes, feel free to reach out to me. Wouldn't you know, about 6 weeks later, she did. She reached out to me and she said, I kept your name and number. I never thought we would leave, but they've been having some real problems and we want to talk to you. So you just don't know, which is why if they tell you no or they're not interested, kick it out 6 months and start the whole process again. The important part of all of this is I did not overwhelm myself by trying to contact 1,000 prospects. I told Olivia, give me about 200 to 250 prospects. At the end of the year, which was over about a 4-month period that I was cold calling for her, she couldn't handle any more than 41 sales. She was struggling to hire people to handle the 26 that I had already sold. So at the end of the year, I sold for her a total of 41 deals. So nice problem to have, right? And the most important thing is I took a hard look on those 241 leads, and I asked Olivia to tag the ones that she really wanted me to get in front of. And she came up with 52. Out of those 52, I sold 26 in 9 days. Now, it wasn't that I made a call and they bought. I made a call and they bought. It didn't work like that. It took me about 6 weeks to gear up from making the phone call, getting the voicemail, doing the follow-up phone call, doing the follow-up email. And then after 6 weeks of this repetition of this cadence with 52 prospects, they all started falling like dominoes after 6 to 7 weeks. Okay. It was the consistency that caused them to fall like dominoes. Because what happens so many times, and I've heard this from CEOs and VPs of sales, that their sales teams are not following up. They may have followed up one time, and I've heard it in my own coaching. Well, Christine, I called, I sent them an email, I got no response. They're just not interested. If I had done this for this right here, I wouldn't have landed 26 deals in 9 days if I gave up after one phone call and one email and getting no response. One of these people that I sold at the very end was a woman, and I am not kidding you. I think I have somewhere the screenshot. I called her over 100 times and sent her over 100 emails. And when she finally got back to me, she apologized and said, I kept saying that I was going to get back to you. I didn't. Do you have any room for our business in your program? Yes, we do. We have 2 more spots to fill. If you can commit to this today, we can make sure that we get you in. And so I had 1 more spot to fill. She took one of them, and then someone that I had been following up with took the other spot, and we were done. We were done for the year. So this absolutely works. But like I said, you can't throw your net too wide and think that you're going to work with 1,000 prospects. It doesn't work. When I was in group benefits, oh my God, I had 5,000 prospects. 5,000. And guess what I did? I brought it all down to the top 50. And then out of the top 50, I brought it all down to the elite 25. The 25 brokers that I absolutely wanted to work with. It's impossible to work with that many leads. And back in that time, it was not unusual for me to do over 400 quotes a month, plus get anywhere from 2 to 300 emails a day. It was crazy. So this cadence absolutely works. But the key to this is doing it and being consistent. That's the absolute key. Okay. That in a nutshell is how I closed 26 deals in 9 days. One of the worst things you can do as a sales rep is to follow up with a lead or a prospect and then never get back with them again. I always do a final email. I have talked about this so many times. A final email is when you have, followed up with them and followed up over the course of maybe 2 or 3 months. You're not getting anywhere. And you send a final email to let them know that you will not be calling or emailing them again. And it goes something like this. Hi, Dan, in a voicemail. Hi, Dan, this is Christine with the Savvy Sales Lady coaching firm. I don't want to be a pest, and I have called you so many times over the last 60 to 90 days. Apparently, you are very busy. I understand that. So this will be my final call. However, if you've been meaning to reach out to me, but your schedule's getting in the way, here's my phone number one last time. And then I would give my phone number. Then I'd follow up with the same message in an email. Well, I've had people recontact me and say, I'm so sorry. One person told me that they'd been in the hospital, told their staff not to let anyone know that they had been in the hospital. And she got back to me and said that, give her a month and follow up again with her in a month and she'd be able to talk to me. All right. Another man was getting ready to board the airplane. And he texted me and said, I am so sorry, Christine. And he said, I've been meaning to reach out to you, but it's been crazy. And he asked me if I could take a call. And I said, yes. So he called real quick and said, I'm literally just getting on the plane. If you will call me Sunday morning at 7 a.m., I'll take your call. And I said, that sounds great, Vince. And I called him at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, and he took my call. So those final emails do work. And why should you send them? Because you're a professional. Professionals react, they respond, and they send a final email to let people know that they won't be hearing from them again unless they reach out to them. Hold on. So sorry about this. I will be so glad when I'm over this cold. So I hope this helps. And I hope you start doing a final email. It's professional courtesy. Think of it that way. It's a professional courtesy to let someone know that because if you don't do that, you know what you look like? You look like a stalker. So sending professional text messages, emails, and voice messages, letting them know that you acknowledge that they're probably swamped and busy. And then after 2 or 3 months, you still haven't reached them. Give them the professional courtesy to let them know that you won't be calling and emailing again. As I said, I could give you more examples of when this has worked. But It doesn't work every time, everyone. It does not work every time, but wouldn't you rather have it work a few times than never find that out? Because we make assumptions as salespeople that they're not interested, and we don't know the backstory, right? I didn't know Helen was in the hospital. No idea, because her staff never told me. But Helen told me when she could. So don't assume they're not interested. We don't know the backstory. All right. Okay. Now, on Thursday evening, I am going to be doing a sales training 101. All right. Trying to figure out if I can do it as a webinar. If not, then I'll use my cards here that I use, right? But I also want to give you your sales challenge for today. And that is, I want you to go through your prospect list and really think about what I said tonight. Pick out 50 prospects that are your gold prospects that you're really going to focus on over the next 90 days. Okay? Do that. Just focus on the next 90 days with those 50 prospects and be very professional about your follow-up, about leaving your voice message, then leaving a courtesy email as I outlined in the cadence. Okay? Don't go 2 weeks without following up. Follow up within 24 to 48 hours because you want to remain a priority in the prospect's mind. Every hour that ticks by, out of sight, out of mind. I mean, they won't even give you another thought. But when you follow up professionally and you call professionally, they will not get pissed off. There, I said it. Because I hear that so much in coaching. Well, I don't want to piss them off, Christine. When you're a professional about it, you will not upset them. All right. I'll see you Thursday night for Sales 101. That's a big subject too, and I will try to make it as streamlined as possible. But to get even more information about how I did these 26 sales in 9 days, my scripts, the entire process is on my cold calling masterclass. The entire thing. It's 36 lessons. And I recently took it down because I'm adding more lessons to it. So the people that have already bought the program are thrilled that I actually am adding more to it because I've gotten rave reviews on my cold calling masterclass. So I'll let you know when it's back up and you can purchase it. And until then, stay savvy.